in the last 48 hours between all of our team members, there's been a ton of tears, to be honest.
Curling now enters the Sports Weekend spotlight.
Brad, great moments are born from great opportunities. What a lifetime of great moments. Good morning to you. How do you even begin to describe watching all of that over all of the years and the moments you've shared with these guys and with Canadians?
Devin, you made this hard on me. Getting emotional again just watching that, and yeah, we've had some great moments as teammates, great moments as individuals, and yeah, it's been a good ride, to be honest. Still emotional watching that. So
no kidding. And I know Canadians are emotional, no doubt. That game yesterday, Brad, I've jokingly said that I've spent more time with your team than my family over the last 5 years. And to hear you say that was the toughest game perhaps you've ever played in your career was striking to me. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, it was. And it was pretty clear cut, to be honest. There's nothing like playing that game because we basically had 4 or 5 hours sleep after a tough loss, and after a loss like that in the semifinals, where your dreams of winning a gold medal are gone. Most teams get weeks before they have to get back out on the ice, and we had a couple hours, and we wanted to win the bronze medal so much that we gave everything we had. Is just when you go to the tank, you don't have everything that you need and everything that you want to feel like you could be your best, because you're so drained from the night before. You're feeling emotions that you don't usually feel in a big game. Like there's still that level of disappointment, I guess, in not getting to the gold medal game, and you just try and dig deep, and it's just not there. And I know John can probably attest to it, and anybody that's played in this game. I got a bunch of messages from curlers that have experienced it, and it's a challenge. It really is. It's hard, but we wanted it so bad, and I think that showed in our emotion after the game.
I know even as a teenager, you focused on the mental aspect of your game. Sports psychology and the mental edge to all of this has always been important to you, Brad. I wonder how much of a factor that was and how much you had to lean on that to just stay in it.
Yeah, it was definitely a factor. We talked to Aaron, our sports psychologist, before the game, and just really talked about some of our concerns. And one was just energy level. Like we hadn't had much sleep, and we were still, still pretty emotional from the night before, and just really tried to accept that. And we knew John was going to be in the same boat, but trying to give as much as we could, and kind of leave it all out there where if things didn't go well, we could walk off the ice and still be proud of the effort that we put in. And I got to give a lot of credit to Mark Kennedy. He said some stuff in our team room, before or right after the semifinal loss that I think kind of resonated with me about, how much this game means. And when you look back on it after an experience where, you don't win that game, it changes everything. And for Brett and Jeff, first time being at the Olympics, I wanted them to leave with that good taste in their mouth of this experience. Mark and I had been through it 16 years ago, and we know how special it is to be at the Olympics. And even if we walked away without a medal this time, we'd still appreciate it. But I don't know if Brett and Jeff would have that same sort of feeling towards it had we not won that game yesterday. So it meant a ton to us, and we're super excited. We're super proud of the way we kind of fought through this week, because we weren't at our best. I think all of curling fans that watched knows this was not our best week. But to still walk away with the bronze medal is something, I think we're going to be we're proud of right now. And I think in a couple of years, we're going to be even more proud of it.
Tell me about that, Brad, about, you've been in so many big curling events. Hi, Colleen. Good to see you again. When you know you're not playing to your potential, how do you describe that feeling on the ice, and what are you doing as a team to try and work through that on the biggest stage with all of Canada really watching?
Yeah, I think for us, there was a lot of discussion, and there were some things that we started doing that we don't normally do, and we tried to get back to what made us successful. And we had some moments where we played well, but we just couldn't sustain it and keep it going. And it just there was always a confidence in my mind that it would come, because we've never had, to be honest, this extended period of playing poorly. We've always usually we're at the event if we play play poorly this long. Like when you play at a slam, if you lose 3 games, you're basically going home. So we haven't had to go through that before, and it was a challenge. Like our team, we weren't in a great place after our loss to Great Britain at the end of the round robin. We were really frustrated with how we were performing, and I think the stress and anxiety of knowing we were playing that night against a high quality team like Nicholas in a do or die game, or essentially a do or die game for that gold medal. I think we got off track, and we had a great meeting in between that and the semifinal. And I'm really proud of how we came out in the semifinal and how we performed. We didn't win the game, but that was the best game that we played as far as our processes. We did all the stuff that we normally do as a team, and Nicholas beat us at our maybe not our best, but pretty darn close to it. And they played a great game and are deserving to be in that gold medal game.
What did Mark Kennedy say? Because he did speak yesterday in the mix zone about how the bronze medal game is the hardest game to play, because you've just lost the game to get into the gold medal game, and that you guys had to really pick yourself up off the mat, is what he said. So what were those words from Mr. Versatile and Lefty Bear?
Yeah, you touched on a lot of the points that he brought up. One was that it was going to be a difficult game, and it was going to be hard. Like he laid it out there. He said it's going to be a challenge, and kind of put our expectations of what to expect in place. Like we knew it was going to be hard. And then he just talked about how much it means. And he said, you might have a moment where if you feel it doesn't mean as much because you just lost that chance to win the gold medal. But he said in 4 years' time, you're going to wish you won that game. And, he was emotional. We get emotional. I'm getting emotional. It was a nice moment. And for me, it helped me get over that gold medal game just a little bit more. I'm still not over it, but helped me move a little bit past it and get ready for that bronze medal game.
Just on the point of getting emotional, Brad, in that interview with Bruce in 2006 on national television, you said, sorry for being a sook in that moment.
Yeah.
And yet 16 years later, to me, it felt like you really just leaned into it, Brad. And what can you say about that, about just leaning into how emotional the journey has been? Because there really was a lot of emotion there. The thing that really hit me in the heart was when you saw the family on the screen after the loss, and I can't imagine what you were going through and the family was going through in that moment, but you really leaned into it and you showed us the way that you can be a champion, you can be a warrior on the ice, and you can be vulnerable at the same time.
Yeah, I guess the Olympics brings it out, to be honest. Still having a hard time with it this morning. But yeah, when I came around the corner and see my family, it just hit me. I'm still a sook, I guess, Devin, to be honest. But I came around and I know how much that they sacrifice and how much they've wanted me to be successful and done everything that they could to allow me that opportunity. And when we lost, and I was fairly composed, and I came around the corner and I seen them, and it smacked me in the face. And yeah, it was a tough moment.
And the moment between you and Mark, that played out, what was that a culmination of? And I'd be remiss if I didn't pick up on hearing you say that this bronze medal capped off a run. So without being too pointed with my question, Brad, what were we seeing play out there between you and Mark and the entire team?
Yeah, I for two of us, we have a great understanding and a great appreciation for what the Olympics means. And I think more so than a lot of athletes, because it took us 16 years to get back. A lot of Olympians, if they miss one, they get back 8 or 4 years later. We had a 16-year stretch of doing everything we could to get back to this moment, and really appreciated how privileged I guess we are to have this opportunity again at our older age. So, um, we really just wanted to go out and enjoy this experience and kind of leave it all out there. And we did that. Some of the emotion in that moment was the fact that neither one of us played our best this week. And we felt disappointed for each other that, we didn't play better. I didn't play better for Mark. Mark didn't play better for me. That was kind of the gist of the words that we had. And and then we turned around and we said to each other, it's okay. Like we've been through a lot, and it was a nice moment, but he was really emotional right after that game, and I just wanted to be there to support him, and he made me emotional, and then I made him more emotional, and there's in the last 48 hours between all of our team members, there's been a ton of tears, to be honest. It's been crazy how much it's hit us, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Well, it probably speaks to the moment, the place, and even the time in your life. Tell me about that family scenario that I wasn't able to see because I wasn't, but how cool was that you were able to connect with family so soon? They're
Yeah,
not here, and I'm sure you missed that.
it's a nice moment. Like I wanted my family to be as much of a part of this experience as possible, and I've been sending them pictures and video as much as I can. They know what the village looks like. They've seen all the venues that we've been to and in some of the other competitions, via some pictures and stuff that I've sent. So I wanted them to be as much a part of it, and for them to be there right when we came off the ice. It was really difficult in the semifinal game, but it was awesome after the bronze medal game to see our family and see how happy and how excited they were that we won, and how excited they were for us. That was a great moment. Both were great moments, don't get me wrong, but the first one just it hit me real hard, and even thinking about it right now still makes me emotional. So I'm excited to get home and see them. It's going to be about 6 weeks that since we've seen them, and knowing that we're going to be leaving shortly again once we get home. They deserve some attention. So once the season's done, they're going to get that, and yeah, I'm excited to see them for sure.
Well, we often talk about how it takes a village to make a curling team, but in a way, the family is part of the curling team, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Like we're gone for so long that I just think of all the stuff my wife has to do while I'm gone, that the burden that's on her to take on stuff that even my work stuff, she's had to take on while I'm gone. And I'm very appreciative of that. And I love her so much, and, wouldn't be here without her. And Mark would say the same thing about Colette, and Jeff about Laura, and well, Jocelyn's here with Brett. So we were all very jealous of Brett when, he was able to run over and hug Jocelyn. And then, 30 seconds later, he's able to give his dad a hug, and we're like, we want our family here too. So
Yeah.
we're very excited to get home and see them and be able to embrace them and celebrate this bronze medal with them as well.
Brad, what do you do? I mean, you mentioned it. I mean, you're going to touch down, and then you're going to be off to another curling event, off to the Brier.
Yeah.
How do you pivot that quickly and get up emotionally yet again for a championship?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. It's going to be a real difficult experience for us. We were asked to commit to the Brier well over a week ago. Pretty well in the early processes of this experience, and we thought we were tough and we could easily do that. We're going to get through this. But after going through this and how grueling it's been, mentally, physically, emotionally, it's a daunting task looking forward, to be quite honest, for us to do this. But we're gonna go and compete and lay it all out there and see what comes. I think the expectations are probably going to be lower than what they normally would be, to be quite honest. And I think we'd be doing ourselves a disservice going in there expecting us to be at 100%, because I don't think that's reality. So go in there and enjoy it. This is kind of maybe a little victory lap for us to go to and play in the Brier, and hopefully there's some fans here in Lethbridge, because that makes a difference. It was pretty quiet in the venue this week, which was a challenge at times, and Colleen can probably attest to it. Where we came off the trials, where we had some of those traditional curling roars that are so exciting for us as athletes.
Yeah. And how quiet it was, Devin. You couldn't hear Brad and Mark talking to each other without being on the headset and listening to their microphones, as I was eavesdropping on your every thought, Brad. But John Schuster, he did not, you could hear absolutely every bit of his dialogue on the ice. It was so quiet.
You don't need commentary with John Schuster. John's great. I really enjoy playing with John. Have a ton of respect for him, but he says what he thinks, and you got to love it. And he says a lot, and
it's great.
He gave all the commentary in our game. I knew exactly what he was thinking, exactly what he was going to do, because he said it. So he's a great guy, and a big shout out to him too. I requested the ice to be clean last night in the seventh end, and he agreed right away, which was awesome. He didn't have to do that, but I think he understood that neither one of us wanted the game to end on a pick, and big shout out to him for that.
Yeah. And honestly, what Schuster's done south of the border in the States with his Olympic gold from 4 years ago has been absolutely inspiring for the entire curling community. And I might add, Japan is hoping, even though that team are superstars in Japan and followed by all the photographers, as you know, Brad, they're hoping a gold medal changes the face of the game down there in an even more powerful way. What would that mean for curling? Do you suppose, when we get the success in gold medals, we often say how it does help the sport in the long run, but what do you think when it's at your expense sometimes?
Yeah, listen, we need to grow the game more internationally. There's no doubt about that. And if you could hit a market like Japan or listen, even Great Britain, they have an opportunity to win 2 golds. So, what impact could that have over in Scotland or England or, there's lots of opportunities, but, there has to be some level of infrastructure in place where they can take the success that comes from this and then translate it into more people joining curling clubs or more people wanting to hold spiels or whatever it is. And I'm not sure that either one of those places have that in place. And there has been some big growth down in the US, but probably not what you would have expected after John won. So, I don't think we want to rely on medals to grow the game, and certainly not at our expense. So, I think it's going to help for sure. It's going to raise the interest, and just being here at the Olympics raises the interest around the world, and people that get exposed to this sport realize, this is pretty interesting, and it's kind of like those shows we all binge watch where you just can't turn away. It's that's kind of how it is and how it's been explained to us. This week, even some of the athletes, we were with the hockey players last night, and they talked about it, that they were never curling fans, but they watched it this week, and all of a sudden are keeners. And it was funny listening to them talk about kind of the technical terms, but they're learning, which was great. So the Olympics has been great for the sport of curling.
I got a kick out of watching the game last night and listening to the American fans when there would be a shot and they would cheer and then they go, "Oh shit, I don't think we're supposed to be cheering in this moment."
Yeah, there was a little pockets of fans there that were great. We had a big group that came out and supported us last night at the game, and John did as well. It was nice to see some of the athletes come out and support you, because it was a tough moment for both of our teams, and to have that little pocket of support there was awesome.
Go ahead, Call.
Oscar Eriksson and Bruce both played in mixed doubles, and that's been a kind of a hot topic as well, Brad. Do you think that hurt them? Do you think you could have also played in mixed doubles? Do you think it maybe especially sort of how the ice was that maybe they gained an advantage of looking at, I know there were different rocks, but
yeah, I don't believe it was much of an advantage. I think, if you're going to handicap this field, you'd make a whole lot of money betting on Bruce Mount, Nicholas Edin, and Brad Gushue being in the final three. And if you said that was it, you're probably going to get be right probably 80-90% of the time. So they were going to be there regardless if they played mixed doubles or if they didn't. I have to believe that, I see the emotion that John and Rachel had, after their experience. I know the emotion that I have right now after my experience. If you had gone through the mixed doubles and things didn't go your way, or if it went really well, to be able to flip around and then compete again, I think it's a real challenge. And I saw a different Amos from Italy than what I saw during the mixed doubles. He didn't play up to his caliber this week. He's a phenomenal curler. And, I think that probably hurt him during the team event because he was just exhausted and left it all on the table for the mixed doubles, celebrated a gold medal and probably didn't have much left in the tank. So, there's pros and cons and I think we sent the best representatives that we could. I think the process that had happened was, you could debate that a lot. I think the timing you could debate a lot. But you can't debate the players that we sent over there. They're phenomenal players and could have easily won a gold medal.
Yeah. Bruce, by the way, and Jen, they're both in the gold medal game, Bruce and Jen, they did lose out and they looked absolutely gutted and devastated and that they were down on the mat almost. And they both obviously rebounded. So I guess it's I don't know what it is.
It helps. There's not enough real data to say if it's going to help or not, because you can flip it the other way, like I said, and take some athletes that didn't make it in there, and it's a challenge. It's how you react to it. It's the support that you have around you, and so there's lots of factors. But I think we have enough talent that we don't have to send the same person to the mixed and into the team. That may change in the future, but yeah.
I imagine, Brad, you're looking forward to a bit of a break after the curling season. You did say victory lap. What's next for Team Gushue after this season?
Yeah, we're going to finish the season. We haven't gone there yet. What's going to happen after this season? I do expect there's going to be some interesting discussions. Obviously, with Brett and Jocelyn's situation going to be changing. I expect he's going to be probably moving westward. And what that means for this team, I'm unsure of at this point. That's a discussion we'll probably have in the next couple of weeks and kind of see where it goes from there. I'm sure the silly season has already started in the sport where guys are talking to each other about what's going to happen. But we have to figure out what we're going to do first. And I think I don't imagine there's going to be a whole lot of changes until some of the top teams make their intentions known. But I do expect that to happen in the lead up to the Brier and certainly right after the Brier. And but a lot of it's going to depend on what what we can do with Brett moving out west and what we're allowed to do, and we'll go from there. So lots of interesting stuff that's going to happen over the next few weeks. But we are going to go and enjoy the experience at the Brier, and then. We'll see what happens after. We'll still have the Champions Cup, I guess, in the Players Championship as well. So there's still lots of curling, but I am looking forward to the season being done already. I'm not going to lie. At this moment right now, I'm as pooped as I've been in a long time. Didn't get much sleep again last night. It was a different reason for not getting much sleep last night.
Right.
But we're we want to enjoy this. It's been 16 years to try and get back, so we're gonna relish this for a while and see where we go.
Awesome. Well, it was such an awesome victory, really. I mean, just being there was so proud of how you guys responded and won that game. When Devin and I are reporting on things, you're not supposed to get emotionally involved, but Devin and I do get emotionally involved. So I was crying right there at every moment. It was a thrill. And I know how hard it is to play in a bronze medal game. I know how hard it is to lose in a semifinal game. And you guys just did us all proud. So good for you.
Brad.
Yeah, no, thank you. And it is an emotional experience. And I did find it emotional 16 years ago, but this week has been it's been eye-opening for me, to be honest, and it gives me a much better appreciation for what you see on TV, and see the emotion that the athletes have, and the difficulty that they have in some of the tough moments, and even in the good moments, because it kind of it's a culmination of all your hard work and all your the ups and downs that you had in the journey to get to this point, and this is the pinnacle of sport, and when you get over here and you're around all these excellent, awesome athletes, and you have all these expectations, the personal expectations, the external expectations, it adds a lot of pressure, and that kind of magnifies the emotions, and yeah, it's been crazy. I got emotional starting with you guys. Devin, I won't forget you putting that montage on there. I'm gonna have to pay you back for that, because that got me emotional right off the hop. So yeah, it's been a great experience. It really has, and I want to give a shout out to all the volunteers here that are and Colleen, you could probably attest to this. They're smiling and waving every time you go by, and so helpful. It's been nice to see their excitement, and that's been fun for us.
I agree with that.
Well, one last thing I'll add, Brad, is certainly the Brier and St. John's gave rise to curling Twitter, as I like to call it. It hit a different level, and it is a career highlight for me to this day to have been there on the rock when that happened. Something I'll never forget, and it really catapulted all of this into a different stratosphere, and then right into the worlds. And this has been 5 years of really awesome stuff, and I've had a front row seat to the majority of all of your moments, and it has been a real pleasure to watch it.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that, and I appreciate both of you guys, covering curling the way you do. And Colleen, you're making a big sacrifice being over here, and Devin, I know you'd be here if the situation's allowed it. And want to thank you guys for promoting the sport, pushing the sport, pushing our story as well. It's not just about winning and losing, and that's something that the perspective I've gained over the years, that it is more about the journey and the experience. And that's what we had this week. It was an incredible experience. It was a learning experience. It's easy to win when you're playing your best, and it's some of the tough weeks are when you're not playing your best, and for us to come away with a bronze medal, it's something that I'm going to be real proud of, and look back on as this has been a successful week, because we weren't at our best. So yeah, proud, happy, relieved, tired. Those are all the emotions I'm feeling right now. So
yeah. Well, cheers to you. And if you're like me, Brad, you probably have to go get another test in order to get into Canada, leave here and get into Canada. I've got 20 minutes to make mine happen.
Yeah, we got to get it done before 11 a.m. So,
right.
I'm looking forward to going a day without a COVID test, and looking forward to actually not wearing a mask all the time. And because really, once, as Colleen can attest, once you leave your bedroom, you got to have a mask on. So we were all saying it's going to be nice to at least get in our own households at home, and not have to wear a mask, and get in our car and not have to wear a mask. But we felt safe over here, and it's been a great experience. It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
Well,
that was a minor detail, the mask work, but
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, congrats, and thank you so much for getting out of bed on no sleep. I hope you had a bit of a party last night, and I'm sure there'll be another party when you get back to St. John's.
Yeah, and there's probably going to be another one tonight too. So we're going to be really tired when we get home, but again, we want to embrace it and enjoy it. And there's a huge Canadian contingent over here that are excited for us and want to celebrate with us as well. So we're looking forward to it. I can't wait to get on that podium later on this evening.
Yeah, and medal ceremony, by the way, if you haven't heard, is at the venue now. So
yeah.
Great. I just thought I'd give you that update if you didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, no, we found out last night, so it doesn't matter where it is. We're excited to get on there, and looking forward to getting that medal and showing it to our families.
Yeah. Well, I think I get to interview you again, so we'll talk later.
Perfect.
Brad, you've done your country so proud, and thank goodness you traded in the hockey stick for the curling rock all those years.
Yeah, I think Dad thinks it's even better decision now. So a big shout out to my mom and dad as well. I know they're probably watching this, and I haven't been able to communicate with them that much here. We've kept everything really tight to pretty well our significant others, and stayed away from social media and text and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing them and chatting with them as well. So love you guys and miss you.
Yeah.